Hello, this is Father Bob Kollath, St. Gabriel Parish. Welcome to Holy Week. Welcome to Holy Week. We begin with Palm Sunday this week, which quickly turns into Passion Sunday as we celebrate Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, and we will be doing that with a donkey at 10 o'clock Mass. So if you want to see have an extra realistic renewal of Palm Sunday, please come at 10 o'clock. Otherwise, we'll have our normal Palm Sunday liturgy. And as you know, that quickly becomes Passion Sunday as we read the Passion and we remember how Jesus suffered and died for us so that we might have everlasting life. So look forward to seeing you this weekend for Palm Sunday. And of course, that's just the beginning. As we kick off Holy Week with Palm Sunday, we have the Chrism Mass at the cathedral with bishop and priest renews their vows of priesthood, and then we receive our holy oils there, and then we bring those oils back, and that's how we kick off Holy Week proper, the Easter Triduum. So Triduum means three, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. So Mass on Holy Thursday is called Mass of the Lord's Supper. If you've been to that, of course, one of the highlights there is we wash the feet as Jesus washes the feet of his disciples. So we wash the feet of those people who serve us so well throughout the year in one way or another. And then we get to Good Friday and we remember, again, we read the Passion, how Jesus suffered and died for us, and how his life does indeed end in death, but he also conquers death, which is exactly what we celebrate on the Easter Vigil. Easter Vigil, of course, is probably 8 o'clock until probably 10:30 this year. We have several people. We're going to have a wonderful Easter Vigil because we have we have 3 people being baptized, several people entering the church, several people receiving confirmation and First Communion for the first time. So we look forward to a full Easter Vigil. We will have all the parts of that, to include when we sing the read from the Old Testament, the light ceremony, readings from the Old Testament, then Mass starts proper, and then we have the sacraments. So it's it's the liturgical highlight of the year. So if you guys say, what's the highlight of the liturgical year? If you say, what's the highlight of the football season? You say the Super Bowl. This is our Super Bowl. This is the highlight of the liturgical year, Easter Triduum. And the highlight of Easter Triduum is indeed Easter Vigil Mass, Holy Saturday. So I invite you all to come. And of course, we will be here Easter Sunday as well. Easter Sunday, we have our regular Mass schedule, 8, 10, and 5 o'clock. So welcome to come to Easter Triduum, and any one of those, and then to come Easter Sunday if you can't come Saturday night.
Excellent, thank you. Mm-hmm. And how about on Holy Thursday, there's an opportunity for adoration after Mass. Mm-hmm. Why do we do that, and how long is that going to be?
Well, adoration on Holy Thursday, it is Mass of the Lord's Supper. So we have the Eucharist that is given to us, and we process around the church with the Eucharist, and then we do Eucharistic adoration in the chapel from the end of Mass until approximately midnight. So approximately midnight, and you can stay for a short period of time, 10 minutes or a half an hour, or you can stay as long as you choose to up until midnight. So we do that because Jesus is really present in the Eucharist, the Mass of the Lord's Supper. He gives his very self, his body, blood, soul, and divinity so that we consume. We are what we eat, right? And so Jesus dwells in us. Jesus dwells in us, and we adore his presence in the Eucharist, his Last Supper, sacrifice. He gives us his body on the cross on Good Friday, and he gives us himself in the Eucharist on Holy Thursday.
Very nice. On Friday is a solemn liturgy and not a Mass.
Right, it's the only day of the year.
What's the difference?
Yeah, it's the only day of the year that we don't have Mass. Officially, we can't have Mass because Jesus has died, and so we recall his death. There is no Eucharistic prayer because we're recalling Jesus' death, not his resurrection. So Jesus is present to us in the Eucharist as he is the risen Lord. He can be present to us in the Eucharist. This is exactly what we don't remember on Good Friday. We remember Jesus' death. So as we remember his death, there's no Eucharistic prayer because we're remembering his death. So it is not a Mass, it is a service.
All right, and Saturday, to be clear, It is 8 to 10:30 p.m.
8 to 10:30 p.m. That's correct.
And why
Yep.
do we do that at night?
Because it's a vigil, so it's an evening. So it is. It is. Why do we do it at night? We do it at night because we're recalling from it is. It's considered an evening of prayer before the big event, of Easter. So a vigil is an evening event. So it's an evening event before the big event on Easter. So it's an evening of prayer before Easter Sunday.
And should we dress to be outside for the beginning of Mass?
Yes, we should be, because we will have our light ceremony. So we will
right.
bless the fire, bless the Easter candle, then process in with the Easter candle, then light everyone else's candle, and we celebrate the light of the risen Christ, on Easter Vigil. So that's we have our light ceremony. We kick off with our light ceremony, and we have the Old Testament readings, so the way that God is present to us in the Old Testament, the way that God prepared us, his rescue operations that we hear during the Old Testament. We read those readings, we'll read several readings, and before we get into Mass proper, we sing the Exultant, Christ risen, the Easter candle with us. And then we have a Mass as normal, and that includes the sacraments. That includes the Easter sacraments, the sacraments of baptism, confirmation, and Eucharist, which we will have people receiving for the first time, as well as people being baptized.
Very good. Do you have a favorite out of all of those?
Probably Easter Vigil. Yeah, probably Easter Vigil, and really the sacraments. And the reason for that is that the folks have been in RCIA all year long. Now that culminates in the Easter Vigil. That culminates in them preparing to receive these sacraments, and now they're actually receiving the sacraments. So yeah, my favorite is Easter Vigil.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Any other final words?
Please feel free to join us. I know when I was growing up, right before I was ordained, a couple years before I was ordained, we were learning about the Easter Vigil in the seminary, and I said to my stepfather when I was home, kind of on leave from the seminary, I said, "Dad, how come we never go to the Easter Vigil?" And he said, "That long Mass?" And I guess that explains that. That explains that. 3 years later, I was presiding at one. Okay, 3 years later, I was presiding at one. But yeah, don't go through your life missing the highlight of the liturgical year. Go to Easter Vigil and experience the Easter Vigil at least once or twice in your life. So strongly encourage you to come this year as we have people receiving the sacraments, all three of the Easter sacraments.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. God bless you and keep you, and have a good rest of the Lent, everyone, and happy Easter.